Let's start with vaccination news. Over 63 lakh doses were administered today, a significant rise from yesterday when it had dipped to 54 lakhs. In fact, previously on the 21st of June, 88 lakh people were administered vaccine doses. Now, average daily cases have shot up to almost 46 lakh, but the asking rate is inching up as well. Now, almost 98 lakh doses are needed in India per day. Now, India's mega vaccine push says that the states that are performing well are those on your screen. You can see that the top five states, MP is right at the top of that dashboard, followed by UP, Maharashtra, Karnataka and New Delhi.
A major change in Delhi's vaccination drive has perhaps helped set a new record today, over 1 lakh vaccinations. Walk-in vaccinations for the 18+ category at government centres have begun. For 40-year-old Subhash Kumar Manghi and his wife Anokhi Devi, it made vaccination accessible. Manghi is the sole breadwinner of his family of 5. As a small-time vendor of helmets, he earns barely 7,000 rupees a month.
जी हमारे पास तो कंप्यूटर वगैरह तो नहीं है, हम गरीब आदमी हैं और हमें कोई जानकारी मिला कि वैसे कोई जा रहे थे जमरूदपुर इलाके में मैं रहता हूँ, चिराग दिल्ली इनकलेब स्कूल में जो है ना वैक्सीन लग रही है। जी गरीब आदमी के लिए तो बेटर है, हम लोग रोज कमाने वाला रोज खाने वाला।
Private vaccination centres where walk-ins for those under 45 years old are not allowed are seeing a lesser rush as more government centres open up.
Private hospitals are more organized. They are following norms for social distancing, and doctors are right here. So if we have any problem, we can go to the doctor.
But the political bickering continues. The Central Health Minister accused the Delhi government of not vaccinating enough people on Monday compared to records set by other states.
मध्य प्रदेश में जितनी लगी थी उसकी 1% भी नहीं लगा पाए अगले दिन। अगर आप महीने में एक ही दिन लगाएंगे कि वो बेटर है कि हम रोज लगाएंगे बेटर है।
According to Delhi government data, in the above 45 age group, nearly 50% of the population has received at least one dose of the vaccine, while 17% of the population has received both doses. In the 18 to 44 age group, 17% of the population has received at least one dose of the vaccine, but only 1.5% of the population has received both doses. In New Delhi with camera person Sushil Rathi, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.
Now the trend is reversing. Mumbai is seeing more and more people visiting government-run vaccination centres. 20-year-old Tejasri Midbaukar tried for a month but with no luck until today.
Already thought that I'll go in the government one only.
Why?
Yeah. That because it's costly, it's quite costly now. So I thought it would be preferable to. Yeah.
Sagar Kadam works in a salon. He was trying for a month to get the jab but could not succeed. Now it was an urgent requirement as his salon management insisted that employees should take the dose.
अभी चाहिए इसके लिए अभी ले अभी तो चालू हो गया ना सलून तो इसके लिए अपन क्लियर है तो कस्टमर भी क्लियर है मैं क्लियर इसके लिए वैक्सीन ले।
On Monday, Maharashtra government opened vaccinations to the 30 to 44 age group, but from Tuesday to all above 18 years old. But from the data, it looks like people are rushing to the government centres than private ones. In the last 2 days, 75% of the vaccines were administered at the government-run centres. Until now in June, private centres accounted for 75% of vaccination in the city. PMC has a stock of over 1 lakh doses and state government says it has a stock of over 15 lakh doses.
We have done the highest number of vaccination yesterday. We have crossed 5,50,000 yesterday. It was the highest in the state since we started our vaccination, and the capacity is actually 10 lakhs per day, but as and when we receive the vaccine, we will be administering the vaccine.
After the sluggish performance in the last 1 month, now public vaccination centres are seeing a big jump, and with BMC and state government confident of getting regular supplies of vaccine, they hope that the daily vaccination numbers will be even higher. In Mumbai with camera person Praveen G. Rohit, this is Purva Fitness for NDTV.
Now, Delta Plus variant in 8 states have been found. There are 21 cases in Maharashtra, 6 cases in MP, 3 in Kerala, 1 in Tamil Nadu, 2 in Karnataka, 1 case in Punjab, 1 case in Andhra Pradesh and 1 case in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, switching track, soon after lifting the lockdown, the DLF Mall at Saket reopened with fully vaccinated staff and retail employees. The Delhi government allowed malls to open last week subject to restrictions. My colleague Sonakshi Chakravarti spoke to the DLF Mall Centre head Mukt Dogra. Here's the report.
To understand how malls are really doing their bit to ensure that people are still following appropriate measures to fight COVID, we are at one such mall in South Delhi, a popular mall in Saket, the DLF Avenue. I'm joined by the centre head, Mr. Mukt Dogra. Thank you for speaking to us. I want to understand from you, as a mall, as a really big mall, which is thronged by thousands of people, what are you doing in your capacity to ensure people are still following COVID appropriate behavior?
It's a very, very valid question. Thank you very much. So I would say that malls are a controlled environment. We are able to control ingress into the mall at the various entry points, where our security in the first instance will check, do thermal screening, check you for mask, no entry, and check you for COVID appropriate behavior.
What does your badge say?
My badge says vaccinated and safe,
right.
And
how many of such people are wearing
100%. We are proud to say at DLF Avenue, we are 100% vaccinated. DLF has taken this step to help our retail employees also go ahead, not only the front end, also the back end staff, our own back end staff. Everybody has been vaccinated, whosoever has been eligible for vaccination, everybody 100% have been vaccinated completely.
What is the footfall at your mall like ever since malls reopened in this lockdown?
So in this lockdown, people themselves have displayed a lot of sensibility and they have come back ensuring, like I said, demonstrating COVID appropriate behavior. They have all learnt. And the number this time has been far more encouraging than earlier. We have been clocking close to 16 to 17,000 on an average.
On a weekday?
On
the weekends?
So no. So I'm saying on an average. On weekends can go up to 19,000, 20,000.
With camera person Prem Singh in Delhi, Sonakshi Chakravarti for NDTV.
Now on to Mizoram, where a cabinet minister is not only in news but is also trending on social media. Sports Minister Robert Romavia Roite has announced a cash incentive of 1 lakh rupees to a living parent with the highest number of children in his constituency to encourage population growth among the demographically small Mizo communities. The reward will be given from his personal capacity and not from the government. He made this declaration last Sunday at a time when across the nation there's a buzz about two-child policy. My colleague Ratnadeep Chaudhary spoke to the minister.
Mr. Roite, we understand that you have announced this reward in a personal capacity and not as a minister in the Mizoram government. But what really triggered you to think on these lines and announce this interesting reward?
Mizoram has a very low density of population. It is only 52 persons in a square kilometer compared to 382 persons in a square kilometer at the national average. Optimum size of population is vital for economic development of a country, for economic development of a state. We are very much far behind the optimum number of population in case of Mizoram.
But a sharp increase in population also in future may lead to more stress on resources, and given the fact that Mizoram is a state which doesn't have much resources. So how do you look at it?
If we have a good and viable economic policy, we can convert big population into a big assets. Population, this family planning is a policy. It is not a law. And coercion is not possible.
Now there is a buzz about the two-child policy that many states are trying to prescribe. In fact, Assam and UP have decided already that the two-child norm will become part of the welfare schemes as well. So what is your take on the two-child policy which is making news across the country?
I do appreciate that two-child norms or the existing population policy of Government of India for the states having high density of population, like UP, like Kerala, like Assam, and many other states. But as for Mizoram, to reach the required number of optimum population, we need to have more children. I don't feel that prescription of one number or two-child norm in the form of policy for all these diversified people and diversified areas may not work properly.
The FICCI President Uday Shankar spoke to NDTV on WhatsApp and Twitter cases in India. Listen in.
You are aware of all that is happening between WhatsApp and government and Twitter and government. This is also associated with international investment and the sentiment in the country. I want to know your views. How is this issue being handled and how should it be handled?
So, Sanket, I didn't realize that we were discussing this as well, but here are my views. Look, first and foremost, there are multiple issues over there. There are some regulatory issues that are being explored by bodies like the Competition Commission, etc. And those are within a legal framework. Those regulatory authorities are empowered to do the explorations. And India is not the only country which is looking at the behavior and conduct of business by big companies globally. So there is that process. Then there is this whole issue of regulating the behavior of the company. I think we need to be mindful. We need to put guardrails for everybody, whether it is tech companies, social media companies, content companies, or any other company. I think nobody can be allowed to operate in a freedom, in a vacuum. However, we need to be very careful about ensuring that we don't throw the baby with the bathwater. These are businesses, they create value. That is why they are so successful, so many consumers and subscribers they have. The legal framework for that should be very, very clearly laid out. And that legal framework should be transparent, consistent, and should evolve from a wider consultation. That is one thing that I would like to say.
Okay.
The second thing is the transition to some of those, those behavior, new behavior, is both a technological challenge and a business challenge. And we need to give enough time to move to those, to adapt and integrate those things. Otherwise, we'll again causing massive disruption. The third thing is that we should be also very careful that not everybody, just because you're putting these guardrails, not everybody should be, not everything is a criminal activity. And I do have a point of view on this, individual criminal liabilities that are being put on the executives. That flies in the face of Prime Minister's desire to improve the ease of doing business, decriminalizing the conduct of business. There are criminal activities in business and there are non-criminal activities in business. That distinction must be made, and that is a very important one. And to your point about, investment sentiment globally, those are the kind of things where we need to be very sensitive, that we put the right robust processes, but we make sure that they do not end up giving scary signals. And then finally, we have to be mindful that, these businesses came up and became successful because they were totally breakout ideas. And the creativity, whether it is technological creativity or the creativity of the business idea itself, we should not do anything that that sort of discourages that. But that said, we have to make sure that you cannot say that I'm doing something and there are consequences coming out of that for the society or the consumer, but I'm a business and I'm not responsible for that. So it's an important balance that we need to strike.
Now, during these very tough months of pandemic and the deadly second wave in India, NDTV was the #1 choice for television and online audiences. These are the findings of the very prestigious Reuters Institute at Oxford University. The report by them shows NDTV 24/7 was the most watched English channel in India, and NDTV Online was the most popular Indian news website. Thank you very much for trusting us and relying on us for the fastest and most credible coverage. That's all we could pack into this bulletin. Thank you very much for watching.